This is Dr. Z speaking to you from the year 20.23. This is Q-Shaft Broadcast 11. I will start by answering questions that were asked of me by my assistants who viewed the preceding 3 Q-Shafts that covered the grid. Question number 1. How can we verify that what you are saying is true? Answer. Those who study the quantum sciences and relativity will be able to meld their theories with my conclusions by introducing what I have mentioned into their thoughts and experiments. They will see things slowly fall into place and will verify the existence of the grid. In the end, high probabilities will support my positions. Question number 2. How could you possibly know of your existence in parallel universes? Parallel universes, like parallel lines, never intersect. So how can one parallel universe recognize another parallel universe? Answer. Actually, parallel lines do intersect depending on the geometric domain. Consider spherical geometry where parallel lines intersect. For example, lines of longitude on a globe. Keep in mind that certain parallel universes can be very similar to each other, especially immediately after one universe branches from its antecedent. In fact, the part of the universe that you experience directly does not have to change. Other parts of the universe outside your immediate experience may contain the only differences between 2 parallel universes. Consider that you permanently mark or dye sections of the grid and continually monitor those sections. Consider that over time, some of those grid sections no longer possess that marking. Could it be that the dyed grid sections are replaced by other sections? Could this be because of the existence of parallel universe, where the grid elements become rearranged? Perhaps. What if you found those dyed sections in a close by, but different section of your universe? What does this imply? Question number 3. What if you are saying about the grid is true? What does this imply for humankind? Answer. I believe that everyone has to answer that question for themselves. My personal belief is that understanding the grid will allow us to get closer to understanding why we exist. We may now be on the first steps of that journey, or we may now be on the last steps, or anywhere in between. I do not know. And I do not know the importance of answering the question, why do we exist? Question number 4. Does your experimentation with the grid require great energy resources? Answer. That is a very good question. Most of the experimentation requires only the energy needed to drive a healthy mind. Thought experiments will derive the most benefit. Otherwise, I do use prodigious amounts of electricity. I can tell you my source of this electricity because certain entities started copying my method of electrical generation in the mid-2010s, and I am now convinced their inspiration came from this Q-shaft. A small part of my business is in laying pipelines for gas, gasoline, water, and oil. Most of these pipelines are not known to the general public, and I am afforded a great amount of leeway when it comes to the inspection of these pipelines. Essentially, I am responsible for that inspection. What comes out at the end of the pipeline is the only concern of many of my customers. As a side note, I know of business competitors who have laid thousands of miles of pipelines that remove water from nuclear reactors around the world and dump that water into unsuspected and unmonitored areas. Think of areas in this country where the per capita income is very low. The water that supposedly comes out of the reactors is simply water rerouted from the water sources. Back to my pipelines. For every section of pipeline I lay, I install a number of turbines, which are turned by either a gas or a liquid, thus generating electrical power. The turbines are connected within an electrical grid that I control. With tens of thousands of miles of pipeline flowing 24 hours a day, I am supplied with all the electrical energy that I can use. In fact, my excess electrical power supplies most of the electricity in several large grid sections in the USA, with no questions asked by the utilities and with significant financial rewards directed towards me. I also have millions of nanoturbines installed in municipal infrastructures around the USA. Upcoming, there are other areas of education that I need to introduce to those of you who have the inquisitiveness to learn. As I have alluded to before, I need your help in my time, so I need you to advance your studies in your time. I cannot change the past, but I, like you, can mold the future.